Hello everybody, my name is Robert. I'm here with Rouse. And today I'm going to be discussing something that, let's put it this way. I've never really done anything quite like this before. That is in prediction of something. Well, I take that back. I did try to guess the identity of Savitar on the TV show Flash, and I fell flat on my ass. So there you go. Anyway, but when it comes to Avengers Infinity War, I'm going to be making some educated guesses. For instance, I did a little research. I used Internet Movie Database and a few other resource materials. So anyway, I'm going to be making what I call educated guesses. And they're either going to come true or they're not. We'll see. Anyway, we've been building up to this movie since, well, the beginning of the first Avengers movie. I'm not sure if you remember, but in the, one of the closing credit scenes when Thanos turned around and we saw his, big, ugly, purple mug. You remember that? Anyway, we're perhaps in Infinity War going to see one of the biggest comic book battle on the screen that we have ever seen before. I mean, 52, Crisis on Infinite Earths, a Civil War, all of those in the comic books. Yeah, those were big battles. But this is going to be the battle that we've been wanting to see since we were children. So, what do we know so far? Well, we know the MacGuffins in this film are called Infinity Stones. In the comic books, they were called Infinity Gems. But here they're called stones. I guess it's kind of like, remember the Philosopher's Stone? That was the name of the English version of the first Harry Potter movie. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Not over here because they think Americans are pretty stupid. At any rate, we know that there's the Infinity Stones and there's a certain gauntlet worn by Thanos. Called the Infinity Gauntlet. What he wants is to get all the Infinity Stones from around the universe, put them in his gauntlet. And when that happens, well, he's basically going to cement, his power, his ability to do whatever the hell he wants to do when he adds all those stones to this gauntlet. And, I mean, we've heard that he can snap his fingers and half of existence goes away. In fact, it did go away in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book. So, let's see what happens here. We know right now that most of the stones are pretty well tucked away in different parts of the universe, and that's what he's looking for. We know we saw the Space Stone, better known as the Tesseract. How do we know it's a Space Stone? Well, number one, we saw Loki appear at Avengers headquarters when he popped up while they were working on the Tesseract. So yeah, it can make people go from spot to spot to spot. And Loki took care of it to come to Earth. And speaking of Loki, Loki seems to have this thing called the Mind Stone, another one of the Infinity Stones. He had it on top of his scepter. I'm not sure if you remember, but he could, touch somebody in the chest, such as one Hawkeye, and he was able to get Hawkeye, Clint Barton, to do his bidding. And that's basically what it's like when you have the Mind Stone. Well, let's see here. But what happens to these stones? Well, number one, we know the Tesseract, the Space Stone, is currently locked away on Asgard. But we don't know if it's still there. Well, we don't know if it will still be there after Thor Ragnarok and Hela's destruction of Asgard. It could be somewhere else then, or Hela might have it, and she might end up giving it to Thanos. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, Hela might be the incarnation of the Death, Lady Death. That's the one that Thanos is in love with. He's in love with death. And that's why he wants this. Because he figures the more people he can kill, the more she'll love him. So that's why he's always trying to kill people. Anyway, now we're getting into the Tesseract, that's the space stone, or the Tesseract, the space stone. Loki's scepter, that's the Mind Stone. See here, the Reality Stone. If you saw Thor: The Dark World, remember all that ooey gooey red stuff that was everywhere? That's the ether. Well, the ether is also called the Reality Stone. And after Thor: Dark World, I'm not sure if you remember this, but one of the Warriors 3, Volstagg, accompanied by Lady Sif, gave it to the Collector to hold on to. Because they didn't feel like having the Tesseract and the ether there in Asgard were a good idea. So they got rid of that. Remember that with Loki's scepter, they used to have 3. So, wow. Anyway, we know that it was turned over to the Collector. But if you saw the Guardians of the Galaxy, we know that little crystal thing that they had was, see which one was that? I'm trying to think. Oh, that was the Power Stone. Remember that? The Power Stone? Because with it, remember it was like a purplish color, and we saw the Collector discussing what that stone was, what the Power Stone was. It was the one inside that little orb that Peter Quill stole at the beginning of the movie. Well, the Power Stone, you'll recall when the Collector was discussing it, he saw this guy holding the stone up on top of the staff, and he hit it down. It destroyed everybody on that planet. So it is powerful. And another reason why we don't want Thanos to get his hands on it. Now then, there's another one called the Time Stone. Now the Time Stone is actually called, at least in Doctor Strange, he calls it the Eye of Agamotto. And we know it's a Time Stone because we know at the end of Doctor Strange, he was able to make time go backwards for everybody but him and his compatriots. So we saw everything else going backwards, but he was going forward toward Wong's place there in Hong Kong. So that's where that one is. Now the Soul Stone. That's that golden orange color stone. Now, we don't know exactly where it is, and we don't know when it's going to be revealed. It could be revealed either at the end of Thor Ragnarok, it could be revealed during Black Panther, or it could even be revealed at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War. We don't know. I have a theory. I believe that the Soul Stone is the power behind, once again, we're in Asgard, Heimdall. He's always there at the Rainbow Bridge, and even though he's blind, he can see everything that goes on in the universe. Why is that? Because he, I believe, has a Soul Stone. I'm not sure if you noticed, but his eyes are also that orange golden color. And if you look at his armor, right here on his armor, right here, there is a orangish gold, looks like a stone right there in the middle of his armor. So I believe that is where the Soul Stone is located. It's located right here, his soul. Okay? Now, like I said before, we know that the Infinity War movie is actually based on the Infinity Gauntlet comic book. So I don't know why they didn't call it the Infinity Gauntlet, but no, it's Infinity War. And so what else do we need to know? Let's find out who else is in the film. Now, according to the Internet Movie Database, what we have here, let's see here, we have Captain America, we have Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, Vision, Hulk, and Falcon. Now, guess what else? I'm pretty sure we're also going to see Spider-Man. We're going to see Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, and his buddy Wong. Pretty sure Nick Fury's going to show up after a long time. Winter Soldier's going to be there. Also, The Guardians of the Galaxy are coming, including Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, Groot, and who do they have with them? They've got Nebula. They've got Mantis. They've got Yondu. So, I mean, wow, that's a good crew to have. Except I'm not sure I trust Nebula. Also, I think she's just helping them out because she wants to destroy Thanos, just like everybody else. Especially Drax. Anyway, we're also going to see the introduction of Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers is probably going to be operating as an Air Force pilot, just like she was in the comics, but I think she's going to get her powers probably from something else that's going on. We don't know yet, okay? So, anyway, the movie's also going to have probably Black Panther, the Collector, Valkyrie, Maria Hill, and others. But, anyway, we've heard that Doctor Strange is going to play a major role in healing the rift between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Anyway, there will be moments where every damn person who's alive in the world is going to be in that room. That is, as far as the superheroes. And that was told to us by Christopher Marcus, one of the writers on the film, and he told that to IGN. So, what are we going to do? Well, we also know this is amazing. The entire film is going to be shot on IMAX. That's something that we do know too. Next thing we didn't know is what characters are going to die. Well, I can tell you this much. I can tell you who won't die. Spider-Man's not going to die. Captain Marvel's not going to die. Ant-Man's not going to die. Black Panther's not going to die. And Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange aren't going to die. How do I know this? Well, they've all got movies coming up after Avengers Infinity War. So if you kill them off, what good's that going to do? Anyway, but anybody else that dies, don't worry about it too much. I mean, just like Superman is rising from the dead in Justice League, expect one or more deceased characters from Infinity War to rise up. Okay? Marvel's got a hell of a show coming up. I, for one, am going to be there opening night. What about you? This is Robert. Out. By the way, check up and see if I'm right. See you guys later. This is Robert for Rouse.